I think a lot of people don't appreciate how far the game has traveled, what used to be and what is. And Jhulan, I'll start with you. Firstly, when you started getting interested in cricket, you started off as a ball girl when I think the World Cup was taking place in 1997. And, I had Anuradha Dutt on the program yesterday. She happens to be a cousin of mine, but she was also one of the organizers of that World Cup. And Joy Bhattacharya, who's also from Calcutta, was reminding her that, do you know, Jhulan's journey began by being that ball girl. And then you used to go by train up and down 5 hours every time you had to practice. And from there to Lords, and to captaincy. How difficult was it for you, Jhulan, to convince people? What did people say? How did people react? So many social prejudices that you had to battle. Talk about that.
Well, Barkha, honestly speaking, talking about the women's cricket those days, my parents don't know anything about women's cricket. They don't know. They never seen women's cricket. And if that also one more thing, that India also have a women's team, they don't know anything about that. It was just that fortunately I got that pass in my school. 1997 World Cup, the government of West Bengal, they have given few passes, complimentary passes to government school. From that, with that pass, I have come to the ground. Unfortunately, I was a ball girl, but I was not meant for that job. But
Yeah.
just someone bring me inside and just said that just sit here and you have to pass that ball to give it to those players. And that
Yeah.
from that day onward, I saw Brenda Clark winning that World Cup and taking a victory lap, iconic Eden Garden, and watching Fitzpatrick coming from the Haiko end and bowling fast. I start feeling that if I take this sports professionally, at least one day I can play for my country. I can bowl 1 over. If I can take 1 wicket, that will be the ultimate goal. And when I talked to my parents, they did not say yes initially. They said no. And coming from middle class background and coming from a village, the sports is not a good profession for girls. If you want to do some other cultural stuff, you can go do singing, dancing, or poet. In Bengali culture, we do have a lot of all those things. So not in sports. So it was difficult. 6 months. It took 6 months to convince my family I wanted to play this sports. And then second problem was, whenever I used to travel from Chagda to Kolkata, I was very young. I was about to give my board exam, and because of traveling, practicing, I used to sacrifice most of the days on schooling. I could not manage both the things, balancing out properly. At the same time, a lot of comments I used to get in a train. Why you are playing? Why you are wasting your time? How your parents allow you to play these sports? इसमें क्या मिलेगा आपको खेल के? You are just wasting your time and everything. And those are the lot of negative comment I used to get every day. And when you're traveling in a big kit bag in a packed local train, and they used to start abusing you also regarding why you are taking such a big bags. आप क्या कोई किसी को मार के लेके जा रहे हो कि अंदर ऐसे वाले कमेंट भी आते थे. But those are the things. I never feel bad. I never feel hurt. When I know what I am doing it, I know I used to enjoy most. And cricket is not for. I was playing cricket only for my love and passion, for nothing else, and just wanted to play for my country. And after that, things has been changed. 2002, when Anu ma'am was a secretary, and that time I would play for my country. And I think Mithali was also there that time. Anu ma'am was a secretary. She also debuted her career. So she is also very good, very, very, very big instrumental. A big role she played for women's cricket. She also did a lot of sacrifice. So I think everyone who have played that time, they have done a lot of sacrifice for women's cricket.
No, absolutely. And I just want everybody to know what Mithali, what others have had to go through. Now, Mithali, your journey was somewhat different. You came from a military family. You didn't have to convince your family. Your father was very encouraging. But that doesn't mean that you didn't run into other stereotypes, And I think you revealed in another conversation that at the time that you played, there were no match fees. There were no annual contracts. You all used to get 1,000 rupees per match. And Anuradha was telling us that when they played in the 1980s, they had to pay for themselves to travel. So look at what has been happening at every stage. And I think Mandira Bedi, when she was host, once she actually gave all her brand endorsement fee so that all of you could travel. So, Jhulan may have had to battle her family, battle the abuses on the train. You may have missed that roadblock, but talk a little bit about how tough it was.
Say, of course, my challenges were very different. Yes, you were right that my father got me into the sport, but then for me the challenge was, of course, from my close ones, from my grandparents, because we were a joint family, and obviously my grandparents didn't wanted me to get into sports. Nobody in the family are into sports, just me. So and then. Coming from south, there's always this perception, like, you spend so much time outside, you would get dark, and you're playing such a rough sport with the boys, and morning to evening she's out there, and she comes in the night, then you have few stitches on the face, you get hit, and then you have the
Yeah.
stitches.
Yeah.
And at one point my grandmother is like, you're torturing this young girl. That's what she told my mother. So yeah, they had to endure all of that, but my
Yeah.
parents made sure that I was not, facing all those. They've sort of cocooned me from those negative aspects, but probably not much from the society, because we would travel a lot by train, as Julu said, and we were on our own. Like my first travel alone was as a 10-year-old for an under 16 game. So I was with all my seniors. I literally grew on tours, because my mother hardly seen me grow. Every time I came back home, I was a very different kid to her.
Yeah.
And all my friends, I hardly went to school as well. She used to do a lot of my homework and keep it up to date. I would only be present for exams. But
Yeah.
yes, financial aspect was very difficult.
Yeah.
During WCI, my first trip in 1999, when I got selected for India, she was right, Anu ma'am was right, that the state associations didn't have so much funding. So sometimes my father had to reach out to his bank. I reached out to my school if they could sort of help me, fund my tour. So that was the case back then. It was pretty much like, you play under 16, under 19 tournaments, and you want to get to the first and second so that you get scholarship. There is some money coming in through the scholarships. So that way we would run, and if we are lucky, we would get sponsors. But those times, when you play for India, you have the bat manufacturers who would sort of give you a kit for a season. And so it was important that if you're able to play for India, then somehow, like SS, BDM, these people were sort of giving us some equipment, and there were times when we would even share those equipments, because I remember one bat patching it up, tournament after tournament, so I could continue playing it for at least use it for 2 years. And then at one point it came where, when we came under BCCI, I didn't really had to sort of buy a bat and keep it for and save it, like, it's like a fixed deposit, sort of keep looking at it,
Yeah.
because you had the manufacturers lining up saying that, because the matches are televised, there is a branding that comes out. So now they want to give you more bats, more equipment, so that it comes on television.
Yeah.
So things started to change when we came under BCCI, and the DA and the traveling was much easier. So yes, it took a while to take off. Even after coming under BCCI, I would say it was a little slow progress, but it did help in a lot of aspects, especially travel, stay, and in terms of finances, the contract system came later. But whatever little earning we started to do initially was a huge sort of a boost in terms of, at home, that your parents until then were spending, and now you're able to look after your travel allowances
But
and everything.
but you used to get what when you started being paid 1,000 rupees per match?
Yeah. That was the 2005 World Cup when we came back as runners up. I remember Julu, of course, was like quite livid, like, we are runners up. But
Yeah.
I said, whatever it is, it is. I mean, at least, it's a start.
And this is after the 2005 World Cup, and you were runners up, and you got 1,000 rupees per match.
Yeah, this was in the 2005 World Cup, yes, when we came back from the World Cup.
And I mean, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to process that, right? You come back as runners up from the World Cup and you get 1,000 rupees per match. And Jhulan, you have even seen worse than that, right? Anuradha was telling me that कोई पैसा नहीं था अपने आप पैसा देके, and even Mithali has gone through that. You must have seen even tougher times financially.
Yes, absolutely. Because when Bengalis, Durga Puja is a big festival. So during Durga Puja, we bought a lot of clothes, a lot of new stuff. So for me, is the new stuff was some bowling spikes, batting pair of gloves, batting gloves, a bat. These are the new things I used to buy during Durga Puja time. We used to wait when Durga Puja time. Nobody will say no to you, and you just manage those 8 months, 9 months with the one pair of shoes, one pair of gloves, one bat to manage that, and everything is going smoothly. And when Durga Puja will come, you'll buy able to you give up your personal clothes. And you're not going to buy those things, and you're going to buy cricket equipment. That was my every year story since I think 1997. And after that, yes, there was a lot of challenges, because what Mithali says that we used to give money to our association to book our rail ticket, because they don't have fund, they don't have ticket with money. So we're not going for tournament. So then year is going to be missed out. In the age group tournament is 1 year is very important. So I know I first year in my under 19, when I saw first time Mithali was there in under 19 competition, we spend money from our pocket to the association. We give thousand rupees for up and down 10 fare and lodging. After that, we were able to go for the tournament. So that is how the things happen. But yes, after a certain time, I got a little bit extra support from Air India, because I got a scholarship from Air India. After that, it was little better, little smoother, because before that it was really challenging, really challenging.
Yeah. So pure passion and a lot of grit. Mithali, talk about the time when Mandira Bedi, who was by then a well-known commentator, she actually decided to give her money. That's a young Mandira Bedi that you see there. What a photo for the albums there. Mithali, talk about this moment. Talk about this tour when Mandira said, "Okay, you're having this difficulty. Let me try and get you sponsors and let me give my brand endorsement towards your tour."
You can see is of us returning from I think the World Cup, the 2005 World Cup, and I remember just before that when Shubhu ma'am became the secretary of WCI for 2 years, she made sure that we were able to prepare well for the series, for the tournament, and getting a team sponsor was difficult, and that's when she reached out to Mandira Bedi, and there are a couple of series before the World Cup that she was able to sort of, as you rightly said, give her endorsement fee, so that could help us to fund the team. And it was one of the jewelry brand. I remember meeting her as well in Mumbai, and I mean, at that point, it was a huge thing for somebody like her to come forward and give a part of her earning through the endorsement. It's not everybody or not anybody would be doing that for a sport which still was in the shadows. Not many knew about it way back in 2000s, and for her to come forward to help us at that time, and then when we returned back from the World Cup as a runners up, I think she had the broadest smile. She was so happy, and we were very happy to see her as well. There was a very good camaraderie. Even I met her during the WPL. After very long, I met her, and I was so happy to see her, because you don't forget people on the road to the evolution of the sport where it is today. There were so many people who were involved in whatever little capacity they could. They were able to help in the growth of the sport.